Today we are making a simple job tracking website. I'm using Vite for the template, and we're using React, TailwindCSS and DaisyUI for website and styling. First we start by creating the template with npm create Vite add latest, and then we add a space and a dot to create the template in the directory which we opened. Then we type in the name of the project, job tracker, choose React and JavaScript. Then we need to install the dependencies, and then we can run it by typing npm run dev and open it. Open it, and that is the template which we created, but we don't need all of that. The assets we don't need, you can delete that. The public folder, in the index.css you can delete everything. In the app.jsx, everything in the return thing. And all of these imports we don't need, and the count and the user state, and the app.css we also don't need that. We can delete the entire file. Yes. Then we need to install TailwindCSS. We can do that by typing in this command npm install TailwindCSS at tailwindcss/Vite. Yeah, and then we need to add 2 lines to our vite.config. First we have to import the Tailwind plugin like this. And then we have to import it in the index.css file. Yeah. Yeah, and then we delete this import, and we can see the test. And to test if Tailwind is working, we can just say text -red -500, and the text is red. Then we have to set up DaisyUI. First you have to import it, install it. npm e dash. Right, so after that we add it as a plugin in the index.css. Right. We don't need it for the moment. Then for the page structure, let's create in the source directory a component folder, and within it a header.jsx and a footer.jsx, and then the main component main field.jsx. Then in all of them we create a React functional component. Right, and then we need to import it here. We can make some empty brackets and import first the header, header from the component.header.js x. We need to add these, otherwise it wouldn't find the file. Then we import the main field. Oh, I did it with a capital E. Yeah, we need to fix the capital E. .jsx, and then we have to rename it. Rename the file. Yep, and main field also rename it tune. Yep, and then here also. And the footer, we need to import it. Why is there an error? Already included file name, component, main field, .jsx. Yeah, well, anyways, it's like some refresh problem within Visual Studio Code. But now we can see it, the header, the main field, and the footer. And then that's like all the files we need. Then for the header, yeah, we can just import some classes from DaisyUI, and it doesn't have any like functions or anything. We just import this. Yeah, I'm just fucking dumb. Yeah, we import this. So we have a div here with these class names from DaisyUI and some from TailwindCSS, and then an a tag, but we could also like do a p or something because it doesn't link to any website or something, and then some button classes. Yeah, and now we can see we have this header. Then for the footer, there's also not any functionality at all. You can just import that. We use Lucid React for the copyright sign. We also need to import that. npm restore lucid-react. And when that functions and we save the file, nothing happens. Yeah, now. And you can see we have the copyright, and you could add like any name you want instead of the smart programming one. And then the last thing for the footer. So we don't want to go back to this website every year and change the copyright thing. So you could just add some JavaScript in this HTML. Instead of the 2025, we add this JavaScript line inside curly braces, a new date.getFullYear. If we save this, you could see there stands also the 25, and next year it will be the 26. That's the final footer and the final header. We can now close both of them and create a simple form field inside our main field, so we can add new jobs to a list. Yeah. So for the whole website will be wrapped in a div, and it has a class name. Yeah, just done. With the full width, 58 view height, 20 top margin, and it has a flag thing. And now you can notice if we save this, the header moves to the top and the footer to the bottom of the page. So then we can add a form field in, and so we can add a form field. That's just a normal HTML form, and then we add a class name. It has 59% of the width, and we add a function which we program later, which get executed on the click on the submit. Then just some styling, so that we could use some DaisyUI things in there. We need to add a field set and some class names. Yeah, now it doesn't work anymore because we don't have anything in the field set. So I will just add like the first line of the input field, and we have a div with the class name join and gap-2, so it adds a gap between every element of this div. And first we have the label. We have a label for the job name input, then the same for the company name, and for the place and for the link. You can see all of them are text inputs. We have placeholders, and everyone has the DaisyUI classes. If we save that, yeah, we need to define the function, which we need later. So we define the function, handle submit, and we make an arrow function out of it. And you can see the whole website is back. So this is the form right now, but you can notice that we can't submit it. So there's no submit button or anything. So now we add the submit button. Oh no, we add another div underneath that one, and here we have two checkboxes. So we could check if we already applied to the job or it has any remote opportunities. And then we add a submit button. But we want it to be also in the next line, so we add it under the div. And now we theoretically could submit the form, but because we added the required keyword to the inputs, we need to add some test or anything in there, and then we could submit it. But because of the handle submit function is empty right now, nothing will happen. So yeah, then we want to store the input anywhere, so the data for a new job. So we will create an array, and for that we will use the use state hook from React. We also have to import it at the top. And first we have the jobs variable, and then we have the set jobs to add or delete any jobs. Then to render the jobs, you also need a function or a variable, and right here. So the function is the variable is called job list, and we use the jobs, which is an array, and array in JavaScript has a function .map, and we take every item in this array and store it as a job and get the index of that, and we give it to a div with a key and with the key word, and the key is the index. So this is required by React. and then we just render the job name. And then we can add it after the form field in curly braces. We can add job list, and it will be rendered, but but there's nothing like in job in the array because it is empty, and we can't add something. So now we get the logic for the handle submit. First we add an e, so that's like we pass it over to the function, and you could see if we submit the function with every test thing, it refreshes the page, and we don't want that because then we have to make a lot of re-rendering, and that's bad. So we type e prevent default. So if you save that and submit the form again, it doesn't re-render it. And then we get the form data in a variable which is called form data, and we get it from the e.target, from this parameter with which we pass down to the function. Then we will destructure the form data in some variables, the job name, the company name, the place, and a link to the website or to the job posting. We get this from the form data, and then we can define it as a JavaScript object, which we call new job, and then we can edit. And then for the checkboxes, because when you don't click them, you get back undefined, and if you click them, you get back on. So we get them from the form data by the name, which is down here. We call them applied and remote. And if it is defined in the form data, it's true, and if it's not defined, it's false. And that's the same for remote. And then we will call the set jobs to add them to the array. Okay, now we have the previous jobs, and that's also like some arrow function. And we get the updated jobs by making a new array, defining a new array, and first take all the previous jobs and then add back to the end the new job which we defined up there, and then we give back the updated jobs to the setJobs function. And then we can test that. So we have test, and we submit it. Okay. So we have to change the job.name into job.jobName, because we define it in the new job up there as job name and not just name. And then you can see if we add like test2, we render it. And now it just looks like gray, and we want to add some theme or something. We can set the theme in the first div. And now we go to the app.jsx and give the data theme there. And we also have to make it a div and not an empty thing. So then so we can access the theme fantasy, we have to go to the index.css and import it from the plugin from DaisyUI, and then we can say themes, and we can add our fantasy theme. Right, it was the fantasy one. Yeah. So there, and we have to remove that one, and then we save that, and you can see we have now the themes. We can go over to DaisyUI.com and just like use any theme you want. Here's like a list of them, and you can like change them. But first you have to import them like the index.css. So if you want to use the coffee one, we import coffee, and then go over to the app.jsx and change it to coffee. Save that, and now we have the coffee theme over here. Yeah. So then after that, we can now store the data in our job thing. But the problem is every time we refresh the page, the whole jobs array also gets refreshed and is empty again, and we don't want that. So we need to store it in local storage, and to get that we change the set jobs function here in the handle submit, because at the moment we are just updating the jobs array, but we also need to add it to store it in the local storage, so in the browser storage. We just say local storage dot set item, and we call the variable which is stored in the local storage jobs, and then we json.stringify the updated jobs variable, so all the previous jobs with the new job. Right, and then we have it saved. So we add it like this. We can see, yeah, it's in the jobs. And then if we go into the dev tools under application, you can see, oh, we have the variable jobs with the object. Yeah. And now, if we refresh, it's also gone because we don't load the local storage when we visit the website. So we want also that to load. So for that we will use React a use effect hook. So first, what's going on? Oh yeah, we have to import the use effect from React. Yeah. So first we get the stored jobs from local storage.getItem with the variable name, and we json.parse it, and we say or with the pipe thing, or, so we try to get that, and if it doesn't exist because we with the website the first time, we take it to a empty array, and then we set it with the setJobs function to the job variable. And as you can see, we have the test in the jobs array, and if we go to application, you can see it also exists, and then if we refresh, we auto-load it. So now you could add as many things as you want, as many jobs and other stuff, because you just can change the form field, and you could also make a to-do app out of that. So it looks, but the job array which is rendered just looks like it looks like crap, and we want to change that. So we will create a new component called job card. If I could type it right, job card.jsx. And we want to create a React functional component, and we want to export it automatically. And then we need to add some props to the component, so we could pass variables down to it. And we do this by curly brackets. And then we want to pass down the job button function. So we add some deletion after this job card and a number. And then we want, then we go back to the main field and we want to change the rendering of the job list. Because right at the moment it isn't even in a div or anything. So we're going to back to Tailwind CSS and DaisyUI. And DaisyUI has an list component and table component, right? And we could just add that one. And now you can see we have the columns defined: job, company name, place, link, applied, remote, and the delete row. Column, not row. And then in the body of the table we are rendering the job list. And now it's just a name as in plain p tag. And we want to change that, so we go back to the job card and add and table item, and to add like a number before the data, we get the number +1 and just the job name, company name, place. Then if we want, we could add a link to the website. Then for this part it's a little bit more complicated. So the job applied, we are defining the applied and remote as a true or false as a boolean. And now we are looking job applied. If it's true, we are rendering a div with some DaisyUI stuff. So it's just like, if it's true, we are rendering a green dot, and if it isn't, we are rendering status.error, a red dot. And that's the same for the remote thing. And then the bottom, the button with the delete function. So now, because in the job list we are just we are at the moment just rendering the div. We have to add the job card instead of the div. So just copy paste. And we're giving it also the key with the index. We are passing down the job, the number, we are passing down the index. And then we have a new function, handle deletion. So we could remove an object from our table. And we have to define this function, handle deletion. It's also an arrow function. Right. Ooh. Why is white? Why is it white? Job card not defined. Yeah, we need to import that one. Job card. No way. Import job card from. Oh, what's the folder structure? Import job card from /job card.jsx what's, yeah, you could type it right. And now you could see we have all the data and it is nice and formatted. Right. Now if we click the deletion, nothing works because it is empty. So we have to implement that one. And for that we will also need the setJobs function from the useState. So we will call it, we say, oh, previous jobs, everything from the jobs. We pass it down to the arrow function. Then now we say updated jobs, previous jobs dot filter, and we are filtering it for the one with the same index. So we are giving it down the index, so the button knows which index. And yeah, and then if it is the same, we delete it. Then we also need to delete it from the local storage. So we just say, yeah, we just update the local storage. So we set the item jobs with the updated jobs, and then we set the jobs array. If we save it and we refresh the site and we click there, nothing. Oh, white screen, yeah, funny thing. What's going on? Index is not defined. Const handle deletion. Why is index not defined? Oh yeah, I'm just dumb. Yeah, we need to add the index as an argument for the function. And now we can add stuff. And like for the link, we could just add some DaisyUI for link for the button. And yeah, we say, yeah, we applied also, no remote. So you could see we check the applied, edit screen. And then we could say, oh, we want to visit the website. We can click it, go to the link which we added up there. And if we say, oh, we made a typo, or they rejected us, or we got the job, we could just press delete and it's gone. So this was the tutorial. Consider like and subscribing, and leave a comment for an upcoming video for a new project which I should cover.